welcome to day number 29. No, there's not really stairs there. I just always wanted to do that. Here we are, day number 29, and we got the whole room sprayed and, well, perfect. This is where we wanted to get it to. 2 days to get to this point. They got the conduit in. We sprayed it and cleaned it. Then now they have to come back, and we told them to come back in 3 days to run all the wires and get everything all hooked up. So then we'll actually have lighting and power in this room, which is going to be huge. So we were on a little bit of a timeline, gave ourselves an extra day. Didn't really need it, but it did definitely take 2 full days to spray this. And we used Wagner's spray gun on this, and I've sung this gun's praises before because it's so easy to clean. If you're not familiar with it, we did use it in the farmhouse, and well, like I said, going through it, you really want a gun that's easy to clean because that's what gives you the long life in a tool such as this. And then let's just talk about the whole process of going through this. So it was a primer on this, and there's a new Kills paint that we decided to use for it because it sticks to multi-surfaces. And the one thing that it called out in it was it said sticks to galvanized surfaces, and that's what we had here with all of this conduit. And so we did spray around all the conduit, and you know, I got a question. Well, since we painted the conduit, does that affect the ground? And that's actually a really good question. The electricians are scheduled to come back in 3 days. We gave them 3 days so that they come back, and we made sure we have enough time to do it. And they're going to pull the wires through. But I'll ask them that. We told them that we were going to be spraying it, and so I'm assuming everything's going to be okay. But I'll get a definite answer for you on that. And then the other thing we did was we then, after it was all primed and sealed, we went back and we put an acrylic paint on it. And this is an exterior grade acrylic paint. And the reason we did that was because this is going to be, well, it's going to be multi-use space. And we can't forget the fact that we're in a barn. So this has to be treated more of a garage or an exterior space than an interior space. And having this very durable exterior paint with an additional mold and mildew additive to it is going to go a long way if we ever repurpose this space and we're no longer going to be keeping it climate controlled. Now, that kind of brings us to a point, and a lot of people have really been questioning the motives here when it comes to, well, why didn't you finish the space? I mean, you're going through all this work. How come you didn't get it all up and do your plaster and then do it so it looks, you know, like a finished interior space? And the whole point of this space, the whole point of this entire area is that it's going to be a multi-use space. And so right now, we have to consider it more like a blank canvas. And it's an art space, so that's kind of like a perfect analogy for it. Because we're going to use this for what we want it to be used for, what it's needed for at the time. And right now, it's going to be used for Liz's art space. That's going to go up there. You know, we're putting in a slop sink, so there's going to be some utilities. There's going to be some water run up here. It's going to have heat. It's going to have electrical. And then part of the whole thing of putting conduit is that you can quickly and easily change this if we need additional voltage. If we're going to have tools in here, we can easily have more wires run down to the power panel and then brought up here if required. And the same thing with the walls. The walls are going to have color added by the countertops, just sort of like what we did in the farmhouse, where you bring color into the room, but then if we ever had to strip it, we're not locked into the choices that we made. Because this is a working space. This is not a country kitchen. This isn't, well, let's make it warm and comforting. This is going to be more of an industrial space. And we've said industrial chic before, and I think you'll really get that idea when everything is said and done, and then what this looks like as the finished product. And that's not going to happen until I let Liz in here, and she's going to add it all. But I said it, this is a blank canvas, and I made a lot of blank canvases for her over the years, and then that's what she works best with. So I think as the space progresses, you really kind of see why we kept it to the bare minimum, and that also goes a lot to cost, because we're not going the extra couple of $1,000s to finish it, because we know that it's going to be, has the potential to be so much and to be used not just for us, but for the next owners, the next renters, or whatever the next part of this house is going to be. So enough about that. I just wanted to answer those couple questions because they were coming up. Let me show you just what the space looks like in this condition so that you can kind of see, well, what the next video is going to look like. So yeah, all the conduit has all been painted and cleaned there, all the way up and around. As I said, that Wagner gun really got behind everything, which is great. It did make pretty quick work of this. 2 days was a quick process. We went through 3 gallons of primer and 2 gallons of the acrylic paint. Of course, each consecutive coat you do put on, you use a little bit less paint. And this was definitely a 2-coat process, as it always is. Never get fooled or taken in by those more expensive paints that say all in one primer, 1 coat. If you're gonna do it right, just plan on doing it twice, and then you're never gonna be disappointed. And so that's it. Now we're gonna go from here to working on this floor and getting this floor all sealed in so that we don't have all these huge gaps. And then we're gonna put that sanded exterior deck paint on here. So it's gonna have a bit of a texture to it, which would be good for grip and durability. And then, yeah, that's gonna really kind of smooth it out. And then that's gonna bring color in. It's gonna be a gray color. And then you're really gonna start to see the different subtle tones in this winter wash. The other thing is we've got our countertop coming in here. We've got our sink that we're gonna put in place, but we're gonna have plumbing come and run those pipes later once we get everything sorted out with that. So, but the countertops are going to be in here, so it's going to be a nice workstation. 2 little tables here, but those are going to be loose pieces that can kind of go in. Then we're going to have a built-in countertop, a big L countertop that's going to go from here, and this is going to be desk level, go from here under the window to this corner, make a right corner here, and then end up over here. So we're going to have 2 workstations there, and of course we've got the power with the additional outlets for whatever devices we're putting in. And then this is going to be open over here, and Liz has already got a piece that a movable piece that's going to go in there. So then that's going to be the whole thing. And then, as I said, we'll have that nice countertop ledge that'll go all the way over there. I do have some pretty accent or specific accent light that's going to go in here underneath this rail, which is going to light this entire wall. So I'll show you that as we get a little bit closer, because that's the new well, adhesive LED ribbons that we see out there. So I haven't worked with this type in particular, but I've seen a lot of good reviews of it, and if you're ever looking for something like that, I'm sure it'll go a long way in your project. So I know this was a little bit of a longer one, but I wanted to get to some of the questions we had and then just really kind of talk about what we were doing with this space, since well, since it is such a unique space. I didn't want anybody to get the wrong idea, but I want you to kind of see what happens to it as it evolves. So that's it. We'll catch up again once we've, once we've probably got the floor finished, and then we'll probably have a little bit more light in here, which will give us better lighting. And then as it starts to fill, we'll get a little less echo, and then the video quality will go up. So thanks for checking in. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for joining me on this journey. And I hope you guys stick around and then see how it all turns out. So that's it. Leave a like, subscribe. See you next time.